Is learning 2 or more languages at the same time effective? Should you even try? How do you manage all that, and where do you find time? I'll be answering these questions today and sharing my personal experience learning 3 languages at once. And trust me, it is possible, and I've prepared some tips for you to make this journey a lot smoother. My name's Anastasia, and I can proudly call myself a language enthusiast. I love all about languages and different cultures. My native languages are Russian and Ukrainian, and I can also speak English fluently. Then I can speak German and Croatian at somewhere at an intermediate level, but the truth is, even with English, I'm still learning it every day because, let's be honest, language learning never ends. So once you start learning a language, you'll probably have to do this forever. So today I'm here to share some tips based on my experience and on a long research I did before diving into this multi-language adventure. I've got a nice cup of tea with me, so maybe you can get yourself a drink as well to feel a little bit cozy. I've got some autumn cozy vibes here, so get yourself something to drink and let's start the video. And my first tip, if you are just getting started, focus on just one language if you can. If you don't have to learn 2 or more languages at the same time, it is a much better way to learn one language first, or at least to become conversational in that language before jumping into the next one. Why? Because learning second foreign language becomes much easier when you're already solid in your first one. For example, I had a good intermediate level of English before I started learning German, and this foundation made it much easier for me. If I had tried tackling 2 brand new languages at the same time, it would have been way too overwhelming for me. So from here, I'm gonna go to my next tip, which is connected to the first one. If you're set on learning 2 or more languages at the same time, make sure they're either at a different levels or very different languages. What do I mean by that? If you try learning French and Spanish from scratch at the same time, it will be way too easy for you to mix them up in your head because these languages share a lot of similarities. However, if you try learning 2 absolutely different languages like French and Russian, for example, it will be much harder to mix them up because they don't have so much in common. In my case, I started learning German when my English was at an intermediate level, and then I added Croatian when my German was at pre-intermediate level. Croatian and German do have some similarities, so it would be a bit too overwhelming for me to learn both of them from scratch, and the way I did made it easier for me, and it will make it easier for you too. So either choose different levels or different languages. Now, I am 100% sure that it is possible to learn 2 similar languages from scratch at the same time. However, I do not have this experience, so I don't have much to say about it. Okay, so you've chosen the languages you want to learn. Now let's get organized. We need to create a plan, study plan for each language. For me, I am learning English, German and Croatian at the same time, but I don't read them all the same. For English, which is the easiest for me, I'm not gonna plan a lot of study time because I use English on a daily basis. I use it for work and I consume tons of content in English, which makes my study process a little bit passive. However, I work with lower level students, which makes it, well, it has some negative impact on my language, and I still have to practice with native speakers just to keep up with the language and to learn maybe some new idioms or phrases I can implement into my speech, work on my pronunciation, and work on some advanced grammar structures. So I need a little bit of challenge in English. I'll do 1 lesson a week with a native speaker and all of that passive learning that I have on a daily basis. With German, it's a little bit harder. I'm not surrounded by native speakers on a daily basis, so I have to create this immersion for myself by listening to podcasts, watching YouTube videos like Easy German, for example, and following Nika's swag course, which is amazing and free. Highly recommended to everyone who is trying to learn German on their own. Then I'll also practice grammar with some grammar drills, and I can use a textbook or a website with some grammar drills. Maybe I'll do it once a week. And once a week, I'll practice my speaking with a conversational partner, which I found on Tandem app. You can find a conversation practice there for free, and just be ready to practice your native language with the person, because it's kind of language exchange. It's not just a practice for you. So it's better to include it into my schedule and like carve out these 1 to 2 hours per week where I do focus studying with grammar and speaking practice, and then there will be passive studying through podcasts and videos on YouTube. Croatian is a bit different. I live in Croatia now, so I get a lot of daily practice in real life situations, and I take advantage of that, of course. And also I've set up my social media algorithms to show me Croatian content, like on TikTok and Facebook. I'm just getting reels in Croatian, a lot of shorts and reels. And then I just finished a course, like beginner course in Croatian, and now I'm using Easy Croatian for some grammar drills. And also I'm reading books in Croatian, because it's kind of hard to find books in English here in bookstores in my city. And of course I can order online, but I don't mind buying Croatian books because I want to read in Croatian more. So the key here is variety. I don't use the same approach to each language, and by switching it up, it makes it more fun and more effective. So these are my main tips, at least the ones that work for me. Choose different level of the languages you're learning, or choose different languages and approach them differently. Now let's talk a little bit about mindset, which is also very important. Let's talk about your motivation a little bit. Learning a language just because you want it is not enough sometimes. You should know why you're learning this language. Our brain likes to save energy, and learning a language is just an extra effort which is not necessary for our survival, which is why your brain might sabotage you unless you have a strong, clear goal. For example, I really like this book called The Little Prince, very famous, by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. I read this book in 5 languages already, and my dream or my goal kinda is to read it in the original one day, which is French. Which is why I want to learn French sometime. And this is a concrete emotional goal I'm looking forward to work for in the future. Whether your goal is travel, reading a book, or personal connection with someone, it's really important to have this vibe, and it will make the process more rewarding for you. Please don't make I want to learn this language your goal, or I want to become fluent in this language your goal. This is not a very good goal, at least not strong enough for our brain. Make it something concrete and special for you. My next very important tip is take it easy on yourself. Don't burn yourself out. I started learning Polish, French, Spanish, and I quit all of them just because my brain sabotaged me and I didn't understand why I was learning those languages. Just because I liked them, I wanted to learn them at that time. And I was hard on myself. I was watching all of these YouTube videos of different polyglots, people who spoke 10 plus languages, and I wanted to be like them, and I wanted to work hard on this language learning, and I just burned myself out and I quit. Don't do that. Don't overload yourself. If you feel exhausted or tired, it's okay to take a break, and you can come back later to your language learning process or start over, and it will be easier for you for the second time. You don't want to push yourself so hard you stop enjoying the process, you know. I still want to learn Spanish, French, and Polish. They are on my list, together with the Greek language. So this is something to look forward in the future, but not something I'm gonna do like anytime soon, I guess, because I still have to work on my German and Croatian. And another important tip I mentioned already, but stop comparing yourself to others. It is so easy to look at someone else's progress and get discouraged. But remember, you are on your own journey. Everyone's pace is different, and that's what makes it special. That's what makes it your journey. So don't think like, oh, this person speaks so many languages, she or he is so talented, I want to be like them, I want to do that too, I'm so stupid, I cannot do that, I'll never do that. Just throw it away from your head. and focus on your pace, on your progress. Celebrate your small wins. You learned something new this day. You did a good job. Celebrate this. Enjoy your process. Don't make it a race on who speaks more languages or who is more fluent in this language or that language. It's not about that. Just make it about loving what you do and loving yourself for that. I think I'm going to create separate videos with the resources for German and for Croatian, but for now, if you haven't seen it already, I highly recommend you watching this video with 10 amazing resources to learn English by yourself and for free. That's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Let me know in the comments which languages you are learning, and maybe give us some tips if you have anything to add to this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!